Hey everybody, Paul here again from Ballistic Blood Bullets, back with another classic restoration of a great old school movie from the 20s. And this one's from Austrian-born director, writer and producer and prolific filmmaker Fritz Lang. And throughout the 1920s and 30s, Fritz Lang was making some of the most memorable, creative and groundbreaking films, setting the standard for movies to this very day. Classics such as Metropolis 1927, Dr. Mabuse the Gambler from 1922, and M, a classic chiller thriller film noir from 1931. And of course this film that we're looking at today, which in its original guise is a film called Siegfried from 1924, but Siegfried came with a sequel which together combined to make one glorious movie made back to back in 1924. And the film we're talking about is Fritz Lang's Die Niberlungen, and it is released on the Eureka label, and of course proudly proclaimed under its series The Masters of Cinema, and this is number 46 in its great release. Now, just a little thing about Fritz Lang, a great classic director from the early days of cinema, and he had a little quirk that certainly, having now learned of it myself, is something to look out for. But Fritz Lang, in all of his films, apparently there is a shot that contains his hand. So there's a shot of his hand in every single movie that Fritz Lang ever made. And that brings to mind, to me, being also a fan of horror films, Dario Argento, who also, of course, is known to most of you, used to make use of his own hand in his films as well, as close shots predominantly of the killer in his films. But this is Fritz Lang we're talking about, and it's Masters of Cinema, and this is Die Niberlungen, and it is a fantastic release, and really delighted to be able to have picked this one up. It is, as I say, originally based on Siegfried from 1924, and made in the same year its sequel Kriemhild's Revenge, and together they are better known as Die Niberlungen, and it is a really fabulous release from the Masters of Cinema. Now, the two parts together, they do form this Die Niberlungen, and it's a 288-minute, 5-hour movie epic. It's a fantastical epic, and predating and setting the groundbreaking inspiration for pretty much every fantasy epic to follow, including, of course, Star Wars and The Lord of the Rings. And it's adapted for the screen from the myth that etched the base roots for Wagner's Ring Cycle operas. So this is Die Niberlungen, and let's have a little closer look at it. Absolute classic old school artwork, and this is, I dare say, part of what would have been the poster art release from when it was first shown in cinemas in 1924. It's very cleanly done by Eureka, Masters of Cinema, and here we have the side spine, and there it is showing its number 46 release, and this is a PG rated film, which may probably have been a higher rating upon its first release, because it is pretty much brutal stuff throughout, lots of adult situations and lashings of violence, blood, and gore. So lots and lots going on. And let's just have a look inside. And we do have 2 discs, and that, I dare say, is because the film, being pretty much 5 hours in duration, is split over the 2 parts of the film. So here on disc number 2 we do have the sequel, Kriemhild's Revenge, and behind it nestles the disc that sets the scene for the epic, and that is simply titled Siegfried, and it follows obviously the life and times of the hero of the movie, the protagonist, Siegfried. So all of the movie goodness is split into its original 2 parts over 2 Blu-ray discs. And just to have a look behind, because this one again wonderfully does come with backing art, and very nicely done, very classic theme and shot from the movie. There we have an unfortunate in 20s styled graphicness, an arrow spear going through the chest of one of the characters of the movie, but it is a wonderfully shot backdrop, and even in its monochrome black and white, it does just ooze exuberance, its glorious background shots, all of course without any CGI effects that plague movies from today. This is old school goodness at its very, very best. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Now, Die Niberlungen in all its completeness is a startling vision, an artistic triumph of expressionistic awe, and a pinnacle of Fritz Lang's visionary artistry. To bring such an important landmark in cinema greatness to a worldwide audience in the digital format today truly could only be given justice by one of 2 leading authorities for restorative cinema, and I dare say, of course, not a surprise to hear me say that that would be either Criterion or Eureka's Masters of Cinema series. And here it is in all its painstakingly remastered glory in high definition on the Masters of Cinema label. Now, the epic two-part cinematic juggernaut stars Fritz Lang's fellow Austrian actor Paul Richter, who also appeared in Lang's earlier classic 1922 made Dr. Mabuse the Gambler, and he is no stranger himself to the film world, appearing in over 80 movies from 1914 to 1959. Now, Richter plays the part of Siegfried in the first half of the 2-part adaptation, and is avenged by his spouse Kriemhild, played by Margaret Schon, and her followers, and Siegfried's followers, in the fiercely dramatic and battle-filled climatic finale to Kriemhild's Revenge. Real old school excellence, and this is another wonderful, wonderful release from Eureka under their Masters of Cinema series. And we do have a very nice and very, very well put together 56-page booklet that tells the story of the journey in Die Niberlungen, and it is packed with some really, really well done, cool imagery, classic scenes from the film, and just filled with page after page of information pertaining to the film, the background, the history, the characters, and of course the director, Fritz Lang. Really, really well put together, as is always the case with the masters of cinema. And just look at this shot here. I mean, that just is classic cinema imagery. Just almost like Odin, the god Odin sat on his chair, or the mighty Conan. This is back in the 1920s. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. It just would be so difficult to recreate that today with modern cinema. So this is the best way to see the film in its originally made monochrome and sound, but reproduced and newly translated English subtitles, and a 1-hour documentary accompanies the disc set. And of course it tells us all about the film's restoration process. And as I say, here we have a detailed 56-page booklet with new and vintage writings about the movie production and rare archival stills from the movie film production as well. Really, really great, great stuff indeed. Absolutely delighted to be able to pick this one up. Trying to find 5 hours to find it will be interesting, but as I say, it is split over the 2 discs, so you can appreciate it as the 2 movies on separate sittings, or if you've got the time, watch them together and enjoy the whole and complete brilliance that is Die Niberlungen. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. If anybody has seen this or anybody else has picked it up, do share your thoughts. I've never seen this, I've read about it, but of course in any way that it has been previously made available is always in really rather poor quality. This is the best way to pick it up, the best way to view it, the best way to hear it, and the best way to appreciate it. So thank you very much again to Eureka, Masters of Cinema, for delivering another rare, classic and highly important piece of classic old school cinema from one of the masters, Fritz Lang. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. See you all soon. Bye for now.